Welcome back to the Law and Crime Network. I'm Kenney Baden. As you know, we are covering the case of Georgia versus two Mr. and Mrs. Rosenbaum, who are accused of killing their 2-year-old daughter. Well, daughter, I say that, I don't know. I don't say that loosely. I say that because she was their foster daughter, and they're accused of killing her. And it is just another sad case here we have in Law and Crime Network. But they are on break until 3:35, so we are going to replay some of the prosecutor's opening. The prosecutor is named Daisha Young, and she is now telling the tragic story of little Layla, who apparently never had a chance in life. I love a passionate lawyer. Nilima Singh, my guest. Oh, she is passionate, Daisha Young, isn't she?
Yes.
And how, when you have a passionate lawyer in front of the jury, how does that affect the jury?
I think the jury is able to pay attention. They're not going to get lost. They're going to listen to the narrative and remember key words. And in this case, the key words are lies, lies, and lies.
Lies, abusers, and murders. Now, she said something I just wrote down. She said, I believe. Now, early when she started her examination, there was an objection to I believe, and the judge says you must say the evidence will show. So you notice that the prosecutor said the evidence will show that I believe. Now, is there a problem with that ethically?
Well, not necessarily ethically, but according to the court rules, you can't say what you believe, right? You have to say what the facts show. So you'll see towards the end/middle of her opening, she kind of skews there a bit and says, you don't have to believe me. The facts are going to show. Listen to what the witness statements are saying, and then you'll see that the narrative is clear.
So like a ballerina, if she's dancing on that line, or a ballet dancer, if he's dancing on that line, she kind of like teeters, but she doesn't fall over, is what you're telling us.
Exactly.
She's just giving it that passionate go. And you know what? Her victims, if they are murdered by this family, by either of them or both of them because of abuse or failure to do anything, deserve that kind of passion, don't they?
Yeah, certainly. Anyone that is asking for advocacy deserves passion beyond the person that is advocating for them.
And the broken bones the child had. Now, she took the girl, the young Layla, to the doctor, right? The doctor doesn't report anything of abuse. Does the doctor now become a defense witness to say, hey, if I thought there was abuse, I would have reported it?
Yeah, with the circumstances being what they are now, they would have to be a defense witness.
Wow, so we made some interesting things, and guess what? The only place you're going to see what happens is here, Law and Crime Network. We're going to take a break. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Well, that is Corinne Mull, the defense attorney, and she actually just mentioned something that my guest Nilima Singh and I were talking about, that the doctor didn't have any indication of abuse. But let me ask you something else off that. The prosecutor had said in her opening that she was calling a number of witnesses. One was Layla's biological birth mother, who was still drug addicted, and that's why she had to asked for a foster and was happy to have a foster for her child. So that shows some care. And also, her at that time, was a 4-year-old sister who's now 9. Now, how do you get a child of 9 to testify truthfully about something that she said she saw or heard when she's 4? Because isn't it whether she can tell the truth at 4 that matters, not at 9?
Yeah, certainly, Linda. That's a great point. And in this case, competency and credibility are going to be huge when it comes to this 9-year-old. Because like you said, at the time that the crime was committed, she was 4 years old. So it's going to be difficult, I think, for prosecution to be able to successfully establish that she can remember what happened and that she's not just repeating what was told to her.
Now, I heard the defense attorney, I thought she did a wonderful job showing her passion and trying to explain that the parents here, the foster parents, were doing everything for the child. But what I didn't hear, what I absolutely didn't hear was, well, you know, how did the chicken choking happen, which is what they're saying, that the girl choked on chicken when she's 2, they called CPR, and then all these injuries that caused her death have been related to CPR, which we can discuss later.
Yeah, you know what else is interesting is that they do mention that the victim was choking on chicken, and in fact they say that the chicken was successfully dislodged from the victim's mouth. So when these experts come into play, it'll be interesting to see, where did the chicken go? Do we have this chicken? It's going to come down to that tender, Linda.
Oh my gosh, chicken tenders, I hope we don't have a brand name. But, you know, I have known people that have choked on chicken. As a matter of fact, the judge I clerked for, I'm not sure it was chicken, but he choked and died. Well, he was eating in the appellate division in New Jersey, where we're both from, and I clerked in the appellate division for the presiding judge at that time. He later died because he was eating something and it got caught in his throat and he choked to death. So it does happen that even adults can choke to death, right?
Yeah, certainly choking can happen. Definitely, you know, with children that you don't know the proper way to eat. Maybe they're running around. But what's not common is bruises all over the body of a victim that's died from choking.
Well, I'm interested in this whole idea of that she had this transected pancreas and lacerated liver, because I tried a murder case once, a guy named Eddie Thomas, we convicted him, all right, and the child had, again, a lacerated pancreas, and that was from a hit. That was from a boom punch, as you know, like in the courtroom, I would have hit the table like the prosecutor did. It was not from CPR.
Sure, and the prosecutor's first witness, who was an EMT, said that he stated, or back when this injury happened, he stated that he saw the victim's mother or foster mother before the victim trying to perform CPR on her and helping to get the chicken tender out. So what it's going to come down to is who the expert is going to be and what they can say about whether or not this injury was to the pancreas was, you know, something that could be conceivable.
Yeah, but trying to get the chicken tender out, normally you have something called the Heimlich maneuver, even in a child, where you grab them below and you push, right? And that may cause fractured ribs, just like CPR. But I assume, and we both heard the EMT testify, he didn't say anything that he saw the mother punching the child to get it out, right?
Right, and so what I'm wondering is if the expert will say that the mother was behind the child with her fists behind her stomach and kind of pumping in this motion to create some sort of injury to the pancreas.
Well, again, we're going to talk about that later, because I have a source in how people die that I've just consulted with. But let's listen to more of the defense opening. Wow, so that is the defense attorney who said she's going to prove that the Heimlich maneuver, the one we were just talking about, we must be prescient, Nilima Singh, has a tendency to cause a pancreas to like rupture, right? To sever in half, to kind of like go forward by itself on both sides. Now, I have a source. He's my husband. So I just asked him, tweeting very badly, I said, honey, because, you know, I'd probably be on trial with him together too, like they are, Jennifer and Joseph. I said, can you get this kind of injury from CPR? And so I didn't ask him about the Heimlich maneuver. He said, in all his years of practice, no. And that's Dr. Michael Baden. He's my husband. He's a forensic pathologist. All right, so if I am the defense attorney, Nilima, I'm going to start out with that, and I'm going to have to move to something like the Heimlich maneuver, aren't I?
Yeah, certainly, and that's going to be what's going to be the biggest challenge for defense, is to prove that this pancreas was in fact injured because of the Heimlich maneuver.
And it's interesting, I heard a lot about Jennifer, and Corin Mull represents both Jennifer and Joseph, right? Rosenbaum. I didn't hear much about Joseph in that opening, did you?
No, Joseph is taking it easy, it seems. He doesn't need to sweat too much. But what'll be interesting is if he takes a stand and he can testify to what a good foster mom Jennifer was.
Or he can say, hey, I didn't see anything because she took the kid with her to work and I was just home, or I was working and I didn't see anything, but the child came home, Layla came home and was fine. And I don't even hear him being mentioned in this, do you?
Right, no, not at all. In both opening statements from the prosecutor as well as defense, Joseph's name hasn't come up.
Well, let me just say to you that, you know, there's been studies that a juror or a jury kind of has a bent, a leaning, if you would, like I'm leaning to the right or your left or back and forth, as to which way they're going to go after openings. And then everything you see or hear goes into that bent. I don't know which way the jury is leaning, but we're going to take a break right now, and hopefully when we come back, they'll be back in court.